as we know, is in a bit of financial trouble. And not much loss. Basically Catherine Mouth, the Minister of Communications, is more or less coming up now and saying we should refund RTE and basically save them. Or they will go under and we will have to bail them out, the same as the banks. And God knows how much money that'll be. But the reason why you think they would take a hint on why they've been like this, because again, if people paid their TV license, and again, I'm not saying that people a TV license should be abolished. If you don't watch OT, again, there should be a subscription, as Dan the Mixtape said, which I do think it's a really, really good point, and I think they should bring it in and see how many people watches OT. Because imagine if they had to bring in a subscription, you pay €20 a month, right, for OT, something like Disney Plus or something like that, Netflix. Would I pay it? Not a hope. I would rather sit in my backyard with my dog and sit there and watch the wall, because that'd be more useful than OT, to be totally honest with you. Sometimes they do good journalism, sometimes they don't. But again, the majority of the time it's defend Fianna Fáil, defend Fine Gael, defend the Green Party, defend everything they do. Don't question anything. Just put up everything that makes them look good. Don't mention about Leo going into the park. No, let Russian media talk about that. And you think I'm lying. Actually, Russian media, the time Leo, the day before his government office, the Department of Taoiseach, when he was Taoiseach, said not to go to parks, not to congregate in parks, and the next day he was off with his top off in the park with his friends with a jolly and not giving a fuck. And OT were nowhere to be found. Again, OT's never wound when there's good stories going about why the government, and again, Golfgate is a perfect example. OT, like literally, if that was any other media, any reliable media that actually tear into politicians and actually give them a good do and ask them very hard questions, they would go through all of them. They would bring Phil Hogan on and destroy him on OT News. With why he was on his phone, why did Drew Harris know? Again, and did he ever get charged? You think OT do a big, huge news story saying was Phil Hogan charged for being on his phone? If that was no one member of the Irish public, the taxpayer, would they be charged and nearly probably put in the prison for it? Again, OT, no investigation, just dump down the memory hole, just say nothing about it and forget about it. Nothing to see here, peasants. That's more or less OT's line. Again, sometimes they do good journalism. We give them the benefit of the doubt. Sometimes they do good journalism. And the only thing I really watched in OT, to be totally honest, when I used to be on, was Winning Streak. Marty Morrissey, not Marty Morrissey, Marty. I can't think of his last name, but along with Shane the Green on, isn't it? On Winning Streak, he was a good laugh. I have to say, he was a good laugh. To say he's probably the best of them in OT. The rest of them are useless. To be totally honest, sometimes they do good journalism. Sometimes, they do a bit of good journalism. Like the time Norma Foley was on prime time, I give Claire Byrne credit here, but she asked them very hard questions, and I think Claire Byrne was just going to fall out of the chair because you couldn't go over the script, to be honest, with Norma Foley, because she just wouldn't answer anything. She literally wouldn't say anything. She just say schools are safe, and that's she said about 50 times, and then said nothing else. And let's be very clear, and then says nothing at all, and either be clear or nothing says nothing. At least give fairness to Claire Byrne. She literally asked a good few hard questions, which number 40 doesn't know how to answer any question, but anyway. But yeah, again, it wouldn't be much loss. It wouldn't be much loss, to be totally honest. If they made take for example, if I want to watch OT, I have to pay €30, a month or whatever, €20 every 2 months or whatever, something like that. Whatever, and it has to be voluntary. Say for example, I want to watch it. Again, it's my choice. I know many people that don't give a damn about OT and never watched OT in their life. They only have a telly, and this is what they're going to bring in. They're going to bring in a new charge. So take for example the tablet I'm recording on, the phone I have here. I have 2 phones here. I have a telly. I have my Xbox. I have my PlayStation. Right. Say if you have a telly or you have a tablet or you have a phone. They'd be like, yes, do you watch media on it? And that's how they're going to get you. Even though you don't watch OT or into that. They'd be like, yes, you have a media, we're going to charge you and it's going to go to OT. Even though you paid tax. I paid tax on this. I paid something like €10 tax on when I bought this, or something, was it 20 or something euro for a tablet tax. I paid a good lot for this tablet. And it was a good bit of wet for tax, the government to the tax man. And again, do I really have to pay more? Because this is what they're going to bring out. Because we all know they're going to save the mouthpiece in OT. They're not going to let it die. Even though it would be unfortunate to let it die. Because I would say I would rather watch Virgin Media. I think they're more reliable than OT. And there's many other good independent media outlets you could listen to. It's a lot better. It's a lot better than RTE. Like, let's be totally honest. RTE, you take, like, it's just pure depressing. It's just every day of the week, just trying to kick you down when you're already down. And it wouldn't be much loss. To be totally honest, it'd be a great boost for the taxpayer. The taxpayer, we can fund things that we need. And we don't need OT. OT's outlived its purpose. We seen years ago they used to play the national anthem during after advertisements or before the station closed and when the station was closing down. That's when they loved Ireland. They showed the truth. They loved Ireland, and it was a good tune, and they made a good feature there. You can find the One of Ian, on YouTube from OT's old days. They're doing it in the 60s. Now that's good, and they probably had good documentaries of Irish history, and things like that. But nowadays, modern OT is just actually like what can you say? It's nothing really represents the country, Ireland. It really is nothing that gives you any identity. Sometimes the wider few or whatever, no, not the wider few, nationwide. Sometimes that's be good. Sometimes the show. Local groups doing good, like tiny towns groups and things like that. I give them the benefit of the doubt, but it's not OT that's really, it's encouraging people to watch it. It's the tiny towns groups, the ideas they have, the people. OT just gets money from revenue from them, they don't give it to the tiny towns groups. Again, we all know OT is just about the money, and it's about protecting the government's narrative. But yeah, it wouldn't be much loss. To be totally honest, I wouldn't cry over it. I would cry for some jobs. I'd be totally honest. I'd be crying for the people who are on just people that are just trying to make ends meet. I wouldn't cry for Claire Bourne or Ryan what have you called Ryan Tubridy. I'm on his $500,000 a year. $500,000 a year, yes, you heard me right. Imagine if they cut his wages down to an only Irish salary. The minimum wage. Right. But he live on it now. Again, these people, and again they say they're bankrupt, and they're giving these people probably God knows it could be 5 million a year, could be even more, could be 10 million out of the OT's out of our back pockets that we have to give to these stars. And OT claims is for because they're so famous and this that if they're so famous and have the millions made and everything like that, I'm sure they'll be able to do without a salary, and they can live off their fortune, whatever fortune they have in the Canary Islands or whatever. But anyway, thank you for watching. This is quite more, and bye.